Hi, I'm Larry Richardson, your step-by-step chef. Now this morning, I thought I was going to make a fast break and beat the traffic in Yellowstone National Park and get to all my favorite sites. I made it probably about 30 minutes into the park and I'm starving. I can't wait to eat. So I'm going to have breakfast now. And that breakfast is going to be one that's going to fuel me through a day of hiking and chewing up the scenery. It is an egg, ham, and cheese bagel breakfast sandwich. Real easy to make, real delicious, and it'll fill me up to there. So I'll be able to hike all day, well, at least until lunchtime, without missing a step. So come on, let's cook. And here are the ingredients for our bagel breakfast sandwich. We have one egg. I'm going to fry that. You can scramble it if you want, but I'm going to fry it. And you can also use 2 eggs if you want. It's totally up to you. I really only want 1 egg this morning. I have 2 pieces of ham. I'm going to use a tablespoon of the butter to toast the bagel and a teaspoon to fry the egg. And then we're going to use probably about, maybe about a quarter cup of this shredded cheese. And we're just going to spread a little bit on the egg and the ham. And then salt and pepper to taste. So it's that simple. Let me show you how to put all this together. Now the prep work for our breakfast bagel is pretty simple. We certainly want to cut the bagel in half cleanly, and then we're just going to butter the bagel so that when we put it face down in the pan, it'll toast up pretty quickly, since we don't have our toaster with us when we're camping. The other thing you can do, and actually I think I'm going to do that instead of taking the time to spread this, is I'm just going to melt the butter in the pan and then just put these face down in it. It's just simpler when I'm out here camping, but you can do it either way. And then with the ham, I just want to give it a little bit of a slice so when I bite down on the sandwich it doesn't all fall out in my mouth. I've said this before, it drives me crazy to eat a sandwich and have like one of the components just come out, and you're sitting there with a mouthful of ham and the sandwich is basically ruined. So I'm just dicing the ham a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect. And we'll heat this up with the fried egg. And if you want to just scramble up that egg, go ahead, and I'll meet you over at the stove. So here we are over at the old stove. We're going to fry up the egg first. And I know you read the instructions how to operate your stove. I hear the hiss. There's the light. You can feel it. Put your hand up here, not near the bottom. The flame's invisible. So you'll end up frying your hand, which is not the sandwich that we're making today. And then I'm just going to turn the heat down to a quarter, because we want the egg to cook through. And here's our pan. We're going to preheat this for 1 minute. I'll be right back. And here we are back a minute later. There is our teaspoon of butter. And you can use a little bit less. We're just coating the bottom of the pan so the egg doesn't stick to it. And you can see the pan was preheated. We got some butter sizzling. If it sizzles too fast, you don't want to burn it, so you want to turn it down some. You also might have to adjust it up if you're getting no action at all. These are a little bit hard to calibrate at first, the propane stove, so it takes a little bit of work. So we just crack our egg, drop it in the pan. Now, the secret to a good fried egg is don't add shell, is to leave it alone. I'm cooking on an uneven surface, so it's a little bit hard to get that classic yolk in the middle look to this. But for the most part, try to leave the egg alone so it can cook and you won't end up breaking the yolk. And what I'm looking for is for the white of the egg to cook all the way through, and then I can flip it. I like my fried eggs cooked all the way through. Some people like it a little bit on the runny side. So what you would do in that case is certainly let this cook nice and easy. Let the yolk cook so it starts to look just a little bit cooked, and then you can serve it and dip your toast in it and all that stuff. But I definitely like to flip it. So it takes mine about, depending on the stove, it'll take about 2 minutes until I'll be at the flip point. But in the meantime, what I want to do is also give the ham a little bit of a fry. See, the egg is cooking, so I can throw this in like a minute into the cooking process, and it won't automatically stick. The ham won't automatically stick to the egg and make a big mess. So I'm just putting this in, letting it get a little bit of a warm-up going, especially so the cheese will melt on both of these parts. And then while that's going on, there we go. While that's going on, I'm going to start up the other burner to make the toast. And you don't have to toast the bagel if you don't want to. I think it tastes a little bit better if you toast it. So this is on medium heat. That's all lit. Just going to turn it down just a little. There we go. Then I'm going to take our butter, drop it in there. Let me move this over so you can see that while the egg is cooking. I'm just going to melt the butter down and then put the bagel in face down and just let it toast. It'll only take a few minutes, and it'll time out nicely with the other ingredients so we can put our sandwich together. And just take the bagel, and if like this pan's not the biggest pan, so I'm going to coat this one with butter, coat the other half with butter. I'll have them both in the pan so they stay warm, but there, that'll toast fine. Meanwhile, back at our fried egg, I can see that the white is not runny. I'm just going to move this ham aside. And then, again, don't play with the egg before you do this flip part. Just pry this, put this under. It's a little bit of a challenge on this picnic table, but put this under. Oops, this one's really challenging on the picnic table. This happens. So let me just fold up some of the white so I can get it all in one flip. Okay. Oh, it was easier when we did this in rehearsal. And then just flip the egg. There we go. I know that wasn't exactly graceful, but you do what you gotta do. And this is gonna taste delicious. So now I'm gonna cook the egg for another 2 minutes on this side. And then I'm just gonna keep switching the bagel to make sure it toasts evenly. So I'll be right back. Okay, so 2 minutes in, you can see the bagel is toasted nicely. The egg is done. The ham is nice and hot, so I'm going to put the sandwich together. And here's what we do. We just take our egg, and again, if you scrambled your egg, you do the same thing. There we go, on the bottom of the bagel. And then what I'll do is just add our ham. Oh, that's going to be tasty. And if you want to use sausage or even bacon, you can do that. Any breakfast meat. Or you can skip it all together and just have the egg. And then I'll salt and pepper this to taste too. So there's our ham, in a form where it won't all just fall out of the sandwich on us. Ham's nice and hot. And then we just sprinkle some cheese on it. Again, this is going to be a good camper's breakfast. You probably won't have to have lunch until 2 in the afternoon, so I can go on an extra long hike. And then we just add a little pepper. Yum. A little salt. Now, I used an everything bagel for this. You can use any kind of bagel you want. The only one I don't recommend is I wouldn't use a raisin bagel. I just don't think that'd taste right. But look at that. There it is. Yum. So congratulations, look at what you just made. You just made this delicious breakfast bagel. Now, it doesn't matter to me whether you're camping out in Yellowstone or couch camping. This is a delicious sandwich, and I know you're going to like it. So, if you want the recipe, please go to my website, StepByStepChef.com. There you will find free printable recipes for this delicious dish and over 175 more delicious meals. That is breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And each one is accompanied by a step-by-step chef video with me in it. Yeah, hey, I'm sorry, I couldn't afford other talent. So you get me, and I will show you step by step how to make each and every one of those dishes. The other thing you're going to find, since I'm doing cooking and camping with the step-by-step chef, is step-by-step videos on how to camp. Tent camping, basically, because that's what I do, but I also think it has value for glampers, for cabin campers, for RVers, and people who just throw their sleeping bag down on the ground and sleep under the stars, which I will never do, especially in grizzly country. I can't run that fast. So please visit my website, stepbystepchef.com, and I'll see you there.